Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. As we do it every month, I will be showing you guys my TBR and what I read last month in January. I do kind of want to try to read 100 books this year, which statistically I need, or like number-wise, I need to read about 9 books a month. That didn't happen in January. I read 6 books, and it was also kind of a boring one, boring month because all 6 books right over here were part of 2 series. First, I read the Dark Prophecy, which is book 2 in the Trials of Apollo series. I gave the book 4 stars. It was good, but it didn't really give me that 5-star feeling. None of the books really did. They came close, but not 5 stars. It was really good. The series in general was really good. I laughed a lot. There is a sentence from the first book in the series, The Hidden Oracle, that is constantly in my brain. Not constantly, but often. Sayest thou, plaguey, plaguey, plaguey. It's awesome. I love it, and that's kind of the vibes, you know. An arrow that says, "Sayest thou, plaguey, plaguey, plaguey." So basically, I'm just gonna read the back because Zeus has punished his son Apollo by casting him down to earth in the form of a gawky 16-year-old mortal named Lester. Lester? What kind of name is Lester? The only way Apollo can reclaim his rightful place on Mount Olympus is by restoring several oracles that have gone dark. But how can Apollo/Lester do anything about them without his powers? That's kind of the plot of the whole series. And in the Dark Prophecy, I forgot. After experiencing a series of humiliating trials at Camp Half-Blood, Lester must now leave the safety of the demigod training ground and find the most dangerous oracle from ancient times, a haunted cave that may hold answers for Apollo in his quest to become a god again. If it doesn't kill him or drive him insane first. Standing in Apollo's way is the second member of the evil triumvirate, a Roman emperor who makes even Nero look tame. To survive the encounter, Apollo will need the help of son of Hephaestus, Leo Valdez, the now mortal sorceress Calypso, the bronze dragon Festus, and other unexpected allies, some familiar, some new. From the world of demigods, come along for what promises to be a harrowing, hilarious, and haiku-filled ride. There were a bunch of haikus. They were awesome. I love them. I absolutely love them. You can look up haikus like of the series in on Pinterest. Love that. Yeah, I completely forgot what this book's about. But I gave it 4 stars because it was good. My memory's just not great. I remember important stuff, but story plots, not really. They'll have to be really special for me to remember them. Then I started a reading challenge, which I have posted, and which I've finished a few more books because of that. The first one being, and the second book I finished, The Burning Maze. I gave this one 4.5 stars. It was really good. Okay, so basically, the labyrinth is for some reason and somehow open again, and it is like causing, and like for some reason, I know the reason, but you don't, and I'm not spoiling it. Fires are bursting out of the ground from the labyrinth and destroying all plant life. I forgot where. But Lester and Meg need to stop the labyrinth from murdering tree nymphs and stuff and causing mass destruction. And Grover goes along, and it was fine. It was sad, also. Yeah, this was a sad book. I didn't cry, but it was sad. That was The Burning Maze. I gave it 4.5 stars because it was really good. It made me feel stuff, and it still does. I still want to cry right now. Then I read The Tyrant's Tomb, which is the 4th book in the series. Okay. I rated this 4 stars. The Tyrant's Tomb. They are now at Camp Jupiter again, and there's like a carousel. I will never look at carousels the same way again. There is something under a carousel. Yup, and Lester, Meg, somewhere over here, Meg is there, and Reyna, which was introduced in the Heroes of Olympus story, have to fix this, because also the whole series, the iris messaging and the demigod way of communicating has been down, which isn't good, because otherwise they can't communicate without iris messaging, so they have to fix that, and for that they have to climb up a pole, and kill birds. Yup. Then I read the last book of the Trials of Apollo series, The Tower of Nero. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was like, it is the end of the series, there isn't really much else. I know there are a few books in this universe that I do not have yet, but for now, I'm done with these characters. And I think the last page was really something. And this is like the last book, so it has like a whole ass war. They gotta fight. They gotta defeat these like triumvirate people: Caligula, Nero, and some other Commodus. There was definitely a part where I would have gotten a little bit scared if I had not spoiled some stuff to myself. And I love me some spoilers. Like, if someone's gonna die, I want to know. I want to know before it can happen so that I can prepare myself for the death. So that may spoil something, but maybe not. Maybe you'll be tricked. It was a really good book. It was a good end to the story. Because they have to like defeat Nero, Caligula, Commodus, and like get the last oracle free by killing a snake. Poor Arrowman. So Lester here is fighting Python, I think. Like, fighting Red Snake. He's kind of red. He's gray, kind of red. I don't know. Weird snake. He's fighting the weird snake over here. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was really good. After finishing this book, I needed some processing time. But I didn't give myself that because I had to like move on to the next book because I had some more pages to read, like 200 something pages. Then I went on to reading Once Upon a Broken Heart and started reading. I started the series and read the book. I still have the pretty pink covers because it's a funny story. I'll tell you after this one. So basically, Evangeline does some stupid shit and kisses a guy, and now she needs to like kiss 3 people of his choosing when he says so. I thought when I started this book, all 3 kisses would be used in this book. That is not true. Not all 3 kisses get used in this book. 2 do, I think. 2 do. But the kisses aren't even that important, honestly. It just starts everything. And then she has to do some things, and eventually the kisses are forgotten and the story moves on. But the kisses are important. She starts off in Valenda, and then she goes to the north, which is like a whole ass fairy tale kingdom with like lots of fairy tales and magic and curses. Like if you read a book, say we were in the north, I would read this book, then for the first time, I was the first person to read this book, then it would change. And after say 100 people, it is not the same book again. That's kind of like the curses we have. And then she like gets into some trouble. Like bad trouble. But it was good. I gave it 4 stars. I liked it. I did really like it. And I have the pretty pink cover. Obviously, after reading Once Upon a Broken Heart, I wanted to read the Ballad of Never After. Right? But the Ballad of Never After was constantly out of stock. And look how floppy it is. I love it. It's so floppy. Oh, I put it in the wrong place. Okay. But it was constantly out of stock. So eventually, before I even finished Once Upon a Broken Heart, I ordered The Ballad of Never After. And yeah. Turns out, after like finishing this, turns out they've stopped the printing of like the Hodor. Hodor has stopped printing these books. So I got The Ballad of Never After and Once Upon a Broken Heart, Hodor style, the pretty pink covers, because these are the ones I wanted, and I already had Once Upon a Broken Heart in Hodor, and then I also have the Caraval series from Hodor, and turns out they don't print these anymore. So I have A Curse for True Love now, and I'm reading it, but I have it in like the new edition, which is ugly. I like the design. It's pretty much it's really the same design as A Curse for True Love, the pink edition, but blue and ugly. So I would have preferred the pink edition, but it was either this one or the ugly ass black one. And the ugly ass black one is taller than than this copy. So obviously I chose for this blue cover. I made my decision because I could get like A Curse for True Love in pink, but then I would have to pay 21 euros, which my mom said that was normal price for a book. Fine, but it was used and acceptable. Over here, we take good care of our books, so I do not want to know what acceptable means. Like, what does that mean? What does acceptable mean? So I didn't get it, and I got the blue version, which it's ugly as fuck. the spines, color-wise, it's horrible, but whatever. And it also explains why this one was so hard to like buy, but it was fine. I gave this book 5 stars, which I do. The first book is usually fine, then the second book is amazing, and then the third book is also amazing. And this is basically a continuation. It's still about Evangeline, and she gets betrayed by Jax, I guess. Also that ending, I bought A Curse for True Love the same day that I finished this book, because what the fuck was that ending? There was such a big cliffhanger. Okay, and there's like a new curse, and Evangeline is obviously terrified. After Jax, the Prince of Heart, betrays her, Evangeline Fox swears she'll never trust him again. Now that she's discovered her own magic, Evangeline believes she can use it to restore the chance and happily ever after that Jax stole away. But when a new terrifying curse is revealed, Evangeline finds herself entering into a tenuous friendship with the Prince of Hearts again. Except this time, the rules have changed. Jax isn't the only force Evangeline needs to be wary of. In fact, he might be the only one she can trust, despite her desire to despise him. Instead of a love spell wreaking havoc on Evangeline's life, a murderous spell has been cast. To break it, Evangeline and Jax will have to do battle with old friends, new foes, and a magic that plays with heads and hearts. Evangeline has always trusted her heart, but this time she's not so sure she can. I love the book. It was really good. I was going on like 4.5 stars until that ending. What the fuck was that ending? It was like really confusing. I thought it would be the epilogue, and I was so wrong. It was absolutely terrifying, and I needed the next book. So those were the 6 books I read in January. I am behind. I am now behind on my reading goal. Yippee! Because to read exactly 100 books, I would have to read 8 books a month, and then for 4 months, I'd have to read 9. See, I'm so good at math. And we read 6 this month, last month. So we're gonna see how much I read in February. I do have like 10 books on my TBR, but 2 of those are for school, so they don't really count. So that's 8. But I do want to try to buy like 4 books this month. So we'll see. We'll see what we read. And yeah, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!